All right, hey, what's going on, you guys? How do you do? It's your boy Gray here, and welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you guys know this by now, but I have been a Call of Duty player for years. I'm talking all the way back to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare on the PlayStation 3. That was my first Call of Duty, and I've played every Call of Duty since then, except Advanced Warfare. And with the Battlefield 6 open beta going live this Thursday, I want to talk about what it absolutely needs to do better than Call of Duty. Because if DICE gets this wrong, Battlefield 6 might not stand a chance. So if I can ask for an early like on today's video, I'd really appreciate that a lot. Subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, give us a follow on our social media and over on Twitch if you guys want to catch us live. And with all that said, let's get into 5 things Battlefield 6 needs to get right if it wants to pull players away from Call of Duty. All right, let's start with number 1 here, ladies and gentlemen. Controller settings need to feel right at the start. So something that I feel doesn't really get talked about enough is the controller settings. When I first played Battlefield 2042, this is not a joke, I'm not exaggerating here, it took me about an hour and a half to pretty much fine-tune the settings that I have now. And that whole process was me looking up videos online of the best settings for Battlefield 2042, adjusting settings little by little until something felt right to me. And even the settings that I currently have in Battlefield 2042, even those settings right now don't feel completely optimized, but it's good enough that I can get by. I feel like if Battlefield 6 wants to keep controller players locked in, especially those coming from Call of Duty or other first-person shooters, I feel like the default settings need to feel very responsive. This is something that I personally feel might actually make players quit or just leave this game completely. The game doesn't feel functional if it doesn't feel good on controller. If it takes a ton of little tunings of settings to make the game feel somewhat adequate, I can see that being a big problem for a lot of players. Something that's a little concerning is in Swag's recent video where he uploaded like the pros and cons of Battlefield 6. The first con that he said, the first thing that he said was like a negative, was that him alongside many other content creators and even pro players were having a lot of issues with their settings, and it took over 2 hours to fine-tune the settings to get them the way they kind of liked it. So I guess we'll see what they do with that, but I know for a fact I will be waiting on certain content creators like Exclusive Ace to upload a specific settings video because he always nails it. Coming in at number 2 here, ladies and gentlemen, clunky movement. You know, Call of Duty players are used to quick movement, snappy slides, fast ADS, and cancel mechanics. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that Battlefield needs to do all of these things. That's not the point. I'm not saying Battlefield needs to go full Modern Warfare 2019 on us, but the point here is that Battlefield should get the movement to feel tight and responsive. From experience, I have played Battlefield 4 in the past a little bit, and recently I've been playing Battlefield 2042, and from personal experience and from what I've heard from other players, past Battlefield titles have felt sometimes a little too heavy and or sluggish. I think Battlefield 6 has to find that balance between realism and gameplay flow. And to be fair, from everything that I've seen and everything that I've heard from the people who have played Battlefield 6, the beta and at the event, it seems like they've got this one locked in. But again, the beta for us, for people who've never played it, that's coming around this Thursday, and we'll find out then. Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I will be playing the open beta on the release date of August 7th, this Thursday. I think I was told it's releasing officially at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if that's the case, I will probably do my best to just be live for that 4 a.m. release. And if you guys want to stop in, if you guys want to watch, if you guys want to come hang out, you can catch us live over on YouTube or on Twitch. Coming in at number 3, user interface, visibility, and readability matter a lot. Now, let's be honest here, man. Call of Duty's UI may not be the greatest, especially in the last 2 years, but I think we can all agree that it is clean and easy to understand. And in the battlefield or in matches, you get clear hit markers, kill feedback, minimap, health info, now all the stuff that you need during a gunfight. And again, as somebody who has played Battlefield 4 in the past and now playing Battlefield 2042, and somebody who has watched many Battlefield content creators over the years, I think Battlefield in the past has been guilty of cluttered UIs and or even visibility issues. And that's definitely something that Battlefield 6 needs to clean up. And again, by the looks of the gameplay that we saw at the multiplayer reveal event, it's actually looking pretty good. But I'm really hoping that players don't have to fight with the UI in order to understand what's going on in the battlefield. All right, coming in next here at number 4, we have progression that actually feels worth grinding. Something that I think we can all agree that Call of Duty does fairly well. You know, whether it's camos, operators, challenges, prestiging, you know, Call of Duty knows how to hook you with progression. And I say this next point again by just talking from experience. At times, Battlefield's unlocks often felt slow and unrewarding. You know, for Battlefield 6 to remain alive after the beta, it has to give players a reason to grind. You know, whether that's cosmetics, classes, weapons, masteries, you know, they need something that keeps people logging back in. And this hasn't been confirmed, but a lot of people are feeling that with the Battlefield 6 open beta, that we will have to unlock items. You know, I know at the event that everybody was at on Friday, you know, all of the attachments, all of the weapons, everything was just unlocked. But apparently for the Battlefield 6 open beta, this hasn't been confirmed yet. It's just what everybody thinks that it's going to happen. You know, apparently there will be an unlock system and a slight leveling up progression that goes with this open beta. So I guess we'll see. And by the way, speaking of the Battlefield 6 open beta, tomorrow, Wednesday the 6th, during our live stream, I will be giving away 2 Battlefield 6 open beta codes. If you guys want to stop by our live stream tomorrow, whenever we're live, I'll be hosting a giveaway for 2 beta codes. And by the way, you can also earn a code for yourself just by watching a Battlefield 6 stream over on Twitch starting Thursday. And I personally will have drops enabled for that. All right, last one here, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at number 5, we have consistent post-launch support and communication. Now, one of those things Call of Duty does fantastic, and that is the post-launch support. Every season, there's new maps, new weapons, battle pass, bundles, events. Where they fall short and where I really truly hope that DICE does a lot better is with the communication. Weekly feedback of listening to the player base, or just giving us updates as to where the game is going or what plans are being placed for the future of the game or seasons. If there's glitches, if there's bugs, if there's a problem in the game, you know, getting us feedback as quickly as possible and fixes as quickly as possible. And where I'm a little worried with this here is that I know for a fact Battlefield 2042 had a ton of hype during its launch, but they lost momentum fast because of the lack of updates, and they just kind of fell silent. Battlefield 6 has to be different, man. They have to. You know, if DICE wants players to invest into Battlefield 6, invest their time and their efforts and, you know, sure, even their money for whatever cosmetics or whatever, the support has to be there from the initial day 1 launch. So those are the top 5 things that I personally feel that Battlefield 6 needs to do better than Call of Duty. And I'm really rooting for this game, guys. I'm rooting for Battlefield 6. You know, I want this game to succeed because a strong Battlefield game means better competition within the first-person shooter genre. A strong Battlefield 6 means competition for Call of Duty, which in turn will force Call of Duty to do better. And at the end of the day, when $2 billion companies are going at each other's necks and fighting for their player base, and not even for their player base, no, excuse me, for a player base, the only winners in that scenario is the players. And if they can nail these 5 things that I listed in this video, especially for players coming from Call of Duty like myself, I'm positive that this game could really make some waves. So let me know in the comments, man, what is one thing that you guys feel Battlefield 6 needs to get right? Are you guys planning on playing the beta? I'll be covering and playing this thing on the channel, so if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any other videos or live streams, and be sure to drop a like on today's video. Appreciate the continued support, you guys. And if you're interested at all, if you're looking for any Control Freak products, you can use code GRAY at checkout, and you can use code GRAY over at AIM Controllers, link in the description below. And don't forget, you can also use code YTGRAY over at G Fuel, and if you use my code at checkout, you get a nice discount off your order. Give us a follow outside of YouTube on our social media platform, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's everything in the description below, man. I'm gonna call it there, guys. We got a lot more content coming up. Stick around till the next one. My name is Gray. Peace.